What is going on, guys? MMA Island team, we got the fight picks and we got UFC 256. Are we on the main card yet?
No.
Next fight.
Feature prelim.
Yep, gotcha. Okay, so Cub Swanson, Daniel Pineda. Cub Swanson coming back, man. I love these fighters, but it's some fighters every now and then. It's like I feel like the October, November, December, and then 2020, January, February, March. Those times, typically because it's before the coronavirus spike, I typically think, man, it's been so long since we've seen them fight. But it's been over a year since we've seen Cub Swanson fight. And the last time we saw him fight, Kron Gracie, a guy.
Shout out Slick.
Yeah, shout out Slick in that one because he loves that dude, and I think a lot of people do love that dude. Going out there, I think he was 5-0 before the Swanson fight, and then he goes out there and then pretty much just fights a veteran in Cub Swanson, and Cub Swanson does what veterans do. And we got Daniel Pineda in his last fight at UFC 252. Herbert Burns on one of the building up, almost starting to chug hype trains because of his brother Gilbert Burns, I would say.
No. Because of his own skills. I was hyped on him because of his crazy knee knockout over Nate the Train and his great submission win over Evan Dunham. I was hyped because of his own skills, not because of his brother.
I think a lot of people were hyped on him because of his brother, though, for sure. And I got to admit, I was hyped on him. I picked him to beat Daniel Pineda. And
so did I.
Pineda goes out there and
he was my lock of the night, man. He was my lock of the night.
You had him in the crucifix position. Boom, dropping those elbows. I remember watching that. But man, I love this fight. I think you got to love this fight. You got two guys who are veterans of the sport. We are going to get they actually kind of have similar records in a way. You got a 26-11 Cub Swanson taking on a 27-13 Daniel Pineda. I don't know, man. This is a tough fight to pick. Very, very tough fight to pick. You got two guys in their last fight who kind of took on guys that people are holding in really high regard and kind of did really well against them. Man, am I going first for this one? I'm going first?
Yes.
Dang, that's yes. But who is the underdog in this one? Let's find out.
Cub Swanson.
Cub Swanson is, wow. Yeah,
very slightly.
1.6. Wow. So it's pretty even for them. It's not a crazy huge underdog for Cub Swanson in this one. I'd like Cub Swanson in this one, but I think I'm leaning a little bit towards Daniel Pineda on this one, just because I think what we've seen out of Daniel Pineda is that he goes out there and he finishes folks. And typically what we've seen of the Cub Swanson is he gets submitted most of the time in his losses.
Not just submitted, he gets choked.
Yeah, exactly. And then we see in the Frankie Edgar fight, the Shane Burgos fight, 2 decisions recently in the past, 3 years?
All but one of Cub Swanson's UFC losses are by choke.
Exactly. So, man, I don't know, man. I think that, yeah, so you got the Shane Burgos and the Frankie Edgar fights, both were decisions. So,
really? Oh, damn.
But yeah, so I got to go with Danny Pineda on this one. I'm not too confident in this one.
Frankie Edgar submitted him.
Did he? It says decision on this one. Yeah, no, that was the first fight. Crank. That was the neck crank, the first fight. That was the one that was like super, super late. That was like the latest.
Oh, yeah. They fought twice. Never mind.
Wasn't that the latest?
Yes. 456.
Yeah. So, oh man, this is such a great fight, and there's so many. Like, I think a lot of people were sleeping on this card just because so many fights fell out. And I think even the next card, a lot of people are sleeping on it because there's
no one's sleeping on December 19th.
That's true.
No one's sleeping on December 19th.
I'm so excited for that one, man. I wish Hamzat and Leon were fighting. I was so excited for that fight pick. But yeah, man, talking about this fight, I think Daniel Pineda's just got a little bit more ways to win. And I think it's a little bit more, it's tough to say that when you're fighting Cub Swanson because Cub Swanson's a veteran. But I think Daniel Pineda kind of is on pace to win via submission for this one, because you're looking at a guy who typically does win via submission, and you're looking at the Herbert Burns fight. He was in a dominant ground position. It's not like he went out there and boom, 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 elbow, just like went out there and finished him standing. Herbert Burns is great on the ground, and he went out there and he took him down. I think took him down and had him in a dominant ground position and was able to finish him from there. So I just don't see how you can think that won't happen against Cub Swanson, because you get Cub Swanson, a guy who faced Kron Gracie. Obviously, coming from being a Gracie, you're expecting an amazing ground game from him, and he does have an amazing ground game, but Cub Swanson was able to fight against it. Can he do that against a veteran, a guy who's got some very good ground game? I don't know. So I'm going to lean towards Daniel Pineda on this one. I would not be shocked whatsoever to see Cub Swanson win this one. Going to be really, really interesting to see. Just think that like I mentioned, the veteran and the ground game of Daniel Pineda is something I'm valuing a little bit more. So I will pass on to Zach, but I do want to mention that I think I might be cheering for Cub Swanson in this one because I do like Cub Swanson a lot, but pass it on to Zach.
I'll be cheering for Cub Swanson too, and that's because I'm going to pick him in this fight. And let me explain why. A lot of people are looking at the win over Herbert Burns from Daniel Pineda, and yes, that was a very impressive win. But I think it was a little bit more on Herbert Burns not being as good as we all expected because, Daniel Pineda is kind of an up and down fighter. He in his early UFC career, he was not that good. I mean, of course, Swanson had a rough streak, but he was losing to a lot better people. I mean, Pineda lost to Robert Whiteford, Diego Brandao, Antonio Carvalho, and Mike Brown in his original 3 and 4 UFC tenure. But I think Herbert Burns really got tired in that fight. And he got really tired, and that means, and Daniel Pineda is a very strong featherweight. That's what he has. He's very, very strong, and that's how he was able to control Herbert Burns, and he made it easy for him because, he was kind of tired. Cub Swanson does not really get that tired. He swings. Cub Swanson swings, and he throws with a ton of volume. His striking numbers in every single fight are just ridiculous. Let me just read down the list. 135, 129, 209, 60, 111, 83. There's rarely times where Cub Swanson does not throw a ton of strikes in his fights. And that means he's also eating a lot of strikes as well. So he has a very, very solid chin. And if this fight goes to the ground, and I think it will, but Cub Swanson also has great takedown defense at 60%. And the guys that he's getting submitted by are much better fighters than Daniel Pineda. The guys he's getting submitted by are, Renato Moicano, Brian Ortega, Max Holloway, Frankie Edgar, Ricardo Lamas, and then Jens Pulver all the way back in 2007. These guys are all better submission artists than Daniel Pineda is. And I think that this fight is going to be decided on the feet. I think that Cub Swanson is going to wear down Daniel Pineda with his striking volume. And I think it's going to carry him to the victory. We know Daniel Pineda, he took a long layoff because he got popped by USADA. And that was his first fight back from the USADA suspension. He had a couple fights in PFL overturned because of it. I think that Daniel Pineda's striking defense in the past has not been the best. It's at a 48%, but that comes with the Herbert Burns fight, and that boosted it up a decent amount. I think that this fight's going to go to decision. I think this one's going to be a fight of the night war between two guys. And I think Pineda, if he gets dragged into a scrap, like a brawl on the feet, I think he's going to be content to stay there. I don't think he's really thinking that his advantage is mostly on the ground. We will see, though. I think that this fight will mostly play out on the feet, actually, and I'm going to pick Cub Swanson to win a decision.
Going to be interesting, man. Really going to be interesting. Two veterans going at it. I'm excited to see this fight. I know you guys in the comments are excited to see it, so make sure you guys let us know who you guys got and how you guys got it happening. Feature prelim.
Another disagreement. We got a lot.
What?
Another disagreement. We got a lot.
Yeah, actually we do. But yeah, man, it'll be really, really interesting to see. Like I said, man, make sure you guys let us know how you got him, who you got him, and man, just make sure you guys check out the other fight picks. This is a banger, man. Really happy we got to let the fight picks come out this week because these are some really fun fights to talk about. And we got two really fun fights to talk about next because we got two of Zach's favorite fighters. We got a lot of Zach's favorite fighters on this card, so he could be loving this card as well. But yeah, man, we'll pass it on to the main card. Make sure you guys are liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and make sure you guys check out the other fight pick videos.